welcome on in to another episode of Getting Well with Terry, free NHL picks. I'm Terry, and it's a Monday. There's 5 games on the slate today, and I love every single one of them. This is my favorite slate of the NHL season so far. So we'll see how things go. I'm hoping they go well. I love this slate. So we will get to it here in just a second. We'll start the show as we usually do, and that is taking a look at the NHL standings. We'll see how things have changed over the weekend. Carolina still in first, only 3 points ahead of New Jersey. New York Rangers, after a very good weekend, are now within 6 points of first place, and the Carolina Hurricanes. The Atlantic is exactly the same, except Toronto. Only 2 points ahead of Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has 2 games in hand. The Leafs could be falling to third place in the near future. Looking at the wild card spot, Washington hold the top spot with 62 points. Pittsburgh with 61. Islanders 1 point behind with 60. Florida with 58. Buffalo with 56, but games in hand over Florida and the Islanders. And then we have Detroit with 54. Philadelphia with 54, and then the bottom feeders of the Eastern Conference. Looking at the Western Conference, Dallas, Winnipeg, Colorado, the top 3 in the Central. Vegas, Seattle, Edmonton, the top 3 in the Pacific. When it comes to the wild card spots, LA in the first wild card spot with 65. Minnesota, Calgary, fighting for the last spot here, both with 60 points. Nashville with 56, and then after that, it's the bottom feeders of the Western Conference. I'll even include St. Louis in that picture because they're, unless they go on a huge run, they're 9 points out of a playoff spot. They're in trouble there, the St. Louis Blues. But that is the current standings for what has happened over the weekend. Let me try to refresh this. Betstamp is having some issues here, but it looks like everything is good for this game. We'll jump into the comments here. Turnsy, what's up? How's it going? Great slate of games to talk about today. Richie smashed the like as he always does. We're going Buffalo Wild Wings money line. Oof. Very, very interesting. Buffalo Wild Wings. We'll definitely talk about that. That's a tough race, but we are going to see Florida make a run here. They're starting to look better than they have earlier on the year. They're so much better at home, though, than on the road. Hey, Terry. Hey, Crystal. How's it going? Blue Jays, some of them are out and about. Springer, I saw a video with him. Training up, getting ready for the season. So baseball is not too far away now that the NFL season's over. Seattle's going to fall off. Yeah, they've already started for sure. I hate the playoff format. Remember at the beginning of the year, everyone thought the Ducks would be better this year. I don't know about everyone, but yeah, they're bad, and their AHL team is one of the worst. It is the worst AHL team, so Anaheim has some issues, that's for sure. Looking at this game, Calgary Flames, Ottawa Senators, you can get the Flames minus 154 to minus 173. Ottawa is plus 130 to plus 145. 6.5s right across the board in this game. I like the over here. I would have liked the over 6. It opened at a 6, has quickly moved to 6.5. Ottawa will be having Matt Sogard in net for the Sens. They are in goalie trouble. Talbot is out currently, projected for around another week or so. And then Anton Forsberg tore both of his ACLs in both legs. So he's having issues for sure. Calgary's gone over 5 of their last 7 games. 1 was a 6. Ottawa's gone over 3 of their last 4 games. I think this is a higher scoring game, so I like the over here. If you're looking at one player for either team who you can count on right now, that is Claude Giroux. He has goals in 5 straight games, and he's been on fire for the Senators. And I got him to score at plus 220, Claude Giroux. So that is basically my favorite goal scoring prop in that game. Players that I'm looking at for player point parlays for Calgary, I'm looking at Toffoli or Lindholm. Ottawa, obviously Giroux and DeBrincat are who I'm focused on for player point parlays. Who's your baseball team, Terry? Richie says Terry Lowe's the Blue Jays. Kevin says happy Monday, Terry. Let's go. Yes, let's go. Should be a great slate here. I can't go with Calgary, especially on the road. Even with Ottawa's, I'm not picking a side in this game because Calgary are huge favorites. Even with Ottawa's issues in net, just give me the over. Give me the over. What I thought, but I didn't know if he was sticking with Minnesota. Yeah, I can't explain how I pick my favorite teams. Honestly, I've been a Blue Jays fan, I guess, my whole life. But when it comes to hockey and football, Vikings and Wild all the way. But Blue Jays for baseball. Giroux, yes. If you're looking for someone to score, Giroux plus 220, I think that's way overpriced for what he's doing right now. If it's Markstrom, you'll be on the over 6.5 as well. Yeah, for sure. Even Vladar didn't look too good in his last game. Ottawa's still scoring goals, so I like the over in this one. Next up, Florida and Minnesota. You can get the Panthers minus 105 to plus 100. Minnesota minus 106 to minus 115. 6.5s right across the board here. In this one, the last 11 meetings between these two teams have had at least 6 goals scored. So there have been very high scoring games when these two teams face each other. Florida's gone over 6.5 in 9 of their last 10 games. So when you look at Florida, they're scoring goals, but they're also allowing goals here. Minnesota trending a little bit more towards the under. Gustafsson will be a net for the Wild here. Sam Steele is finally getting scratched, which is way past time. And Ryan Reeves will be playing in his 800th NHL game here in this one. Minnesota has lost their last 2 home games against Florida. They've lost their last 5 games in a row against Florida. But overall, Minnesota 10-2-1 at home against Florida all time. So overall, they've had success against Florida. I think Wild are looking for the revenge here after losing to Florida, I think a couple weeks ago. So I do like Wild money line here at home. I really liked what I saw in the last game against the New Jersey Devils. Having Jonas Brodin back was huge. First time in over 2.5 years, I bet against the Wild on Saturday. And the Wild make sure to quickly make me regret that decision with the win against the Devils. I like them here. Wild money line. I also like the over 6.5. Matthew Tkachuk is on a roll. 5 of his last 6 games, he is over 1.5 points. Depending on if you have a book that has shot props, Matthew Tkachuk, it varies from minus 140 to plus money. So obviously, if you're looking at the minus 140, I wouldn't really take it. If you can get the plus money, over 3.5 shots for Tkachuk. In his last 6 games, he is 5 shots, 7 shots, 5 shots, 6 shots, 4 shots, and 7 shots. So his last 6 games, he is past, he's over 3.5 shots. And you can get that for plus money in some spots. I like him for that. And I like him for over 1.5 points. If you're looking at Minnesota, there's only one guy you can look at right now. And that is Joel Eriksson Ek to get a power play point. He has done that in 8 of his last 10 games. Minnesota has the 3rd best home power play in the league. Florida 23rd power penalty kill against. Florida's allowed power play goals in 5 of their last 8 games. And Minnesota, when they're able to score goals, which has not been a lot recently, it's on the power play. Joel Eriksson Ek is huge in that power play. Plus 175 for Joel Eriksson Ek to get a power play point That is one of my favorite bets of the day in this one. Also want to take the over 6.5, but don't know if I can trust the Wild to score. Yeah, we shall see. I'm hoping the floodgates can open here, especially against Florida. These games always seem to go over with Minnesota, Florida. If Florida was plus money, I would go that way, but I believe this is a Wild spot. Yeah, if this was in Florida, I would not be on the Wild, but because it's in Minnesota, I like them here. Florida tie, no bet, first period money line is your best bet. So, all right, so let me get that in here for Jay Stone. So Florida tie, no bet, so which is first period money line. So if they're tied, it is a push. Minus 110 for Jay Stone. Thinking Florida comes out hot early. All right. And then Richie's kind of going the opposite there. Wild race to 3 goals. Yeah, I like that. But we'll move on along to the next game. Arizona Coyotes and the Nashville Predators. You can get Arizona plus 205 to plus 222. Nashville minus 233 to minus 270. Sixes right across the board. Arizona, I took a shot on them on the road in St. Louis. They've had success in St. Louis in the past. But if you're seeing Arizona Coyotes on the road, you should be backing the other team. They've lost 18 straight road games. Arizona cannot win on the road. So looking at that, Nashville minus 233 at home. They'll have Kevin Lankinen in net for this one. I'm not taking a side in this one. I'm on the draw, plus 370. Arizona's gone to overtime in back-to-back games. Nashville's been going overtime as late as well. And I think, especially with Lankinen in net, I think that could keep this game closer than Nashville kind of tearing off here. Predators 12-2 in their last 14 at home against the Coyotes. So the Predators have definitely owned the Coyotes. I'm not really going to take a side here. I'm going to take the draw, but there are player props I like in this one. If you're looking for Nashville, it's Clayton Keller. He is the Arizona Coyotes right now, Clayton Keller, and you can get him to score at plus 200. So I have a little bit on that. Basically, him and Schmaltz have been scoring and assisting in games recently. So you could go either way for either player. I like that. Forsberg was injured in the last game for the Predators, so he will not be playing tonight. Nito Niederreiter will be moving up to the top line. But I'm focusing on his line mates. Matt Duchene, who has a goal in 4 of his last 5 games. I have him to score plus 160. Cody Glass to get a point. Cody Glass is on the top line with Duchene and Niederreiter. He has a point in 4 of his last 5 games. So I have that for plus 125. And a small sprinkle on Cody Glass anytime goal, plus 350. I don't think it should be plus 350 right now with him on the top line, especially against the Coyotes. So I like Cody Glass here. I like the draw. I like Duchene to score, and I like Keller to score in this one. Florida first. Puck line is plus 190. I'm on that also, just not your best bet. Yeah, it's better to go with the push or with the money line just in case of a push. I'm thinking Nashville puck line, minus 1.5. Yeah, I can see that. The Yotes have been keeping games close. That's the only reason I am on the draw is I think it can be a bit of a closer game. But if not, Nashville probably smashes them. So best of luck with that one. Moving on to the second last game. Then we'll get to the last game and, of course, the best bet segment. Detroit minus 102 to plus 106. Vancouver minus 110 to minus 118. 6.5s right across the board. And this one here, Detroit's gone over in 3 of their last 5. Vancouver's gone over in 7 in a row. The price for the over is obviously the over is getting bet. So you're kind of losing value here. I got it at minus 125 yesterday. That's where I would go, minus 130 max. But I do like the over in this one. And I also like the Red Wings. I think we get a very similar game to the game these two teams just faced each other in, a 5-2 Red Wings win. I think we get a very similar result here. Vancouver can score, but they can't stop the puck. And Detroit 4-2 in their last 6 games, so playing a bit better as of late. When it comes to player props in this one, if you're looking for a point, obviously for Detroit, it's Dylan Larkin. For Vancouver, it is Quinn Hughes. Looking for single bets, on Anthony Beauvillier to score, plus 260. He has goals in back-to-back games. He's obviously on that top line with Pettersson and Brock Besser. So I like him to score here in this one. And then I like Detroit and the over in this game. Let's go, Terry. Red Wings, yes. So I'm on the Wild. I'm on the Red Wings. And then I think you said there was one Red Wings money line for Kev too. There was one more team in your Buffalo Wild Wings money line here. And that would be the Buffalo Sabres, who are on the road in LA for this one. You can get Buffalo plus 125 to plus 138. LA Kings minus 147 to minus 162. 6.5s and 7s in this one. In this game. And yes, Richie, you were right on with Wild Wings. I'm trying to find it again, but of course I can't. You were right on the money. I'm on all 3 of those teams. And that Buffalo money line here. Buffalo plus money on the road. Yes, they've lost 3 games in a row. Yes, they haven't looked good. Only one since the All-Star break. But I'm willing to overlook that. Buffalo 9-1-2 in their last 12 road games. Most of those games, they are a dog around this price. Anywhere up to plus 140, plus 160. And I back Buffalo in those situations. 5-2 in their last 7 games in LA. So Buffalo's had success in LA. I think here the Kings are coming off a 6-0 win. I think they're going to be feeling really happy about themselves after that game. Buffalo coming off a very disappointing loss against Calgary where, yes, they had a 2-0 lead, but that was mostly luck. And then Calgary absolutely dominated the rest of the game. And, they dominated the whole game. And Buffalo lost. Sabres beat LA 6-0 in Buffalo earlier on in the season. So LA will be looking for revenge, but I don't see them getting it here. I like the Sabres money line as an underdog price. Looking at player props in this one, I don't have any single bets, but players that are hot for Buffalo right now, Tage Thompson, who's getting moved to the second line here with Okposo and Middlestat. And Dylan Cousins is moving up to the top line with Skinner and Tuck. So Buffalo's making a little bit of line changes. But after their last 3 losses, I can totally understand why. For LA, it's Fiala or Kopitar for points if you want player props for that. But nothing singly for me. And I believe that is the entire slate. It is a small one, but I really do like it a lot. We will take a look at what happened on Friday for the best bet segment. Why I didn't go with the Rangers, why I went with Filipino, I'm not sure, but that was my mistake. Nick went with the Yotes, who lost in overtime. Jay Stone went with Dickinson anytime goal for Chicago, plus 330, which didn't get there. Brian went with Rangers money line and under 5.5. Unfortunately, the under 5.5 didn't cash. Rangers as a big underdog price did, though. Icex went with Columbus, which didn't get there. Henrique didn't score for Richie. But Crystal got the Oklahoma City Thunder plus 3.5. They won outright in that one. We'll take a look at the current standings here for February. And currently, Ice X is in the lead. Dazed and Confused in second. Crystal in third. And then the rest of us, there's 5 of us that are down less than a unit. So totally, it's still anybody's game for February with over half the month left. Lots of spots to move up. Looking at today, Jay Stone already gave his for Florida first period money line. I like a lot today on the slate. And it's kind of tough for me to kind of pick out a best bet here because I like everything so much. But when I look at it, when I deep dive in it, it's got to be Joel Eriksson-Ek to get a power play point at plus 175. He's done in 8 of his last 10 games. The Wild's power play is so hot. And I think he's the one guy I can trust right now for the Wild to get some points. So I'm going to take him to get a power play point, which is plus 175. That's my best bet today. We will go on here. Whoosh. Horrible. Hey, it happens. It's been a really rough month for me. So luckily, I was been able to break the losing streak as of late, but that's what happens. Flames minus 1.5 for Ice X. And I will find out what that is. Currently, you're looking at plus 166. Plus 166. All right. Z Goaler is going to go with the Canucks. I'm going to assume that's Canucks money line here. Push in. Right. Canucks money line. And I will find out the price for that. Right now, you're looking at minus 110. Is the best odds you can get. Crystal will post her best bet later. Can't decide what to go with. Yeah, hey, I totally feel you. That's a situation I was in for sure. Oof, and Richie is going to try to make it up all in one bet here. And he is going to go Buffalo Sabres race to 5 goals. So for anyone that doesn't know, that means that Buffalo has to score 5 goals before LA does. So it's kind of like the team total, except added value because the team that you choose has to score 5 first. But that currently looks like it is everybody right now. If you want to put your best bet in, feel free. As Crystal said, she's doing hers later. If you want to do that, put it in the comment section of this video on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, come join us on YouTube. 449 subscribers, one away from 450. I can't wait to get to 500. That is the goal. I want to get to 500 soon. So if you're on Twitter, come hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. Come throw your best bet in. Come join the competition. Kev is going to go Detroit Red Wings money line, Detroit money line, which I think you can get for plus 106 in one spot. It's definitely moved towards Detroit. All right. And swinging for the crowd. Hey, go big or go home. But that is today's show. Best of luck to everybody today. As I said, if you're watching on Twitter, come join us in the YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you enjoy the content. And we'll be back tomorrow for another episode of Getting Wild with Terry, free NHL picks. Best of luck, guys.